Stop. Before you scroll, breathe for a moment and listen with your whole spirit, Scorpio, because what I'm about to say is not casual background noise. Not every smile around you is safe, and as we move toward December 9th, 2025, the energy around you is sharpening, sorting, exposing, and rearranging the people and situations in your path. If you've been feeling that strange tension in the air, that quiet unease when you're around certain people, or that sense that something off is hiding behind polite words and friendly gestures, this is not your imagination. This is your intuition screaming through the static. You didn't land on this message by mistake. You were drawn here, like a magnet to a signal that matches your frequency. Because there is a trap forming near your steps, and Spirit wants you awake enough to step around it instead of into it. Scorpio, you were born with one of the sharpest internal radars in the zodiac. You read rooms without trying, sense motives without explanations, and can taste dishonesty in the air like smoke before a fire. And yet, even you get tired. Even you, after carrying so much, can start to doubt yourself, especially when the danger doesn't look like danger at all. Right now, the energy around you is not screaming disaster. It's whispering seduction. It comes wrapped in a warm smile, a soft compliment, a sudden opportunity that seems almost too perfect, or a kind person who appears right when you're exhausted, lonely, or in need. The hidden trap is not always an obvious enemy. Sometimes it's the person who seems to understand you immediately, who offers you relief, shortcuts, or validation that feels like a long, cool drink after a dry season. The warning is not to close your heart, but to open your eyes even wider. The universe is not trying to scare you, it is trying to sharpen you. As December 9th approaches, an energetic spotlight begins to swing over your life, exposing the corners even you have tried not to look at. This is a transit of spiritual discernment, a moment where truth and deception stand side by side, wearing similar clothes, and your task is to tell them apart. You may notice people returning from the past, suddenly friendlier than before, talking about second chances and new beginnings. But something in you feels heavy when they speak. You may notice new faces orbiting closer, asking deep questions very quickly, wanting access to your feelings, your plans, or even your resources before any real trust has been earned. There might even be an opportunity that looks like a blessing. A job, a collaboration, a financial deal, a promise of support that lights up your mind but tightens your stomach. That tension is your map. The trap is not in one specific person or event. The trap is wherever you override your inner knowing just to keep the peace, to avoid being alone, or to avoid disappointing someone else. Scorpio, the universe is not telling you trust no one. It is telling you trust yourself more than anyone. You have walked through too many fires to act like you are still powerless now. Think about the last few years of your life. The betrayals you didn't see coming, the masks that fell, the moments you said, "I knew it," after the damage was done. Those were not failures. They were training. Every time your heart broke, your intuition grew sharper. Every time you ignored a red flag and paid the price, your spirit learned the shape of danger more clearly. Now, in this season, you are being asked not to repeat old cycles for the sake of comfort. The trap near you is designed to look like something you used to fall for. The charming manipulator, the wounded soul who takes but never gives, the mentor or boss who praises your talent but exploits your effort, the partner or friend who uses your empathy to keep you in a one-sided bond. The difference this time is that you will feel the warning before you see the evidence. December 9th is a marker, a spiritual checkpoint, a day when your awareness peaks and something becomes undeniable. You might start noticing small glitches in someone's story, details that don't match, jokes that reveal more than they should, little moments where their face doesn't match their words. You might catch yourself shrinking when they're around, laughing off comments that sting, or explaining away behavior you would warn your friends about. Pay attention to what your body does in their presence. Does your chest tighten? Does your jaw clench? Do you feel like you're subtly auditioning for their approval, or walking on eggshells you can't fully name? The trap isn't always a dramatic betrayal. Sometimes it's a slow leak of your self-respect, one small compromise at a time. The universe is placing mirrors all around you now, overheard conversations, dreams that revisit old wounds, songs or lines that echo your situation, to help you recognize that you are being invited into a familiar maze. The difference is that this time, you know where it leads, and you don't have to enter. On the days leading up to and around December 9th, you may feel more sensitive than usual. Old fears might rise, fear of abandonment, fear of being misunderstood, fear of being punished for setting boundaries. That heightened sensitivity is not weakness. It's your spiritual nervous system lighting up like a dashboard, telling you we're at a turning point. Choose differently. You might feel torn between the desire to be generous and the urge to protect yourself. You might ask, am I being paranoid? Am I overreacting? Scorpio, when your spirit has lived through enough storms, it can smell the weather before the clouds gather. Choosing caution is not paranoia, it's wisdom. This season invites you to slow down decisions, to say, I need time to think, to observe more than you explain, and to watch what people do when you no longer rush to say yes. This hidden trap may appear in different areas of life depending on your path. For some, it will be romantic, a charming presence who makes you feel seen, yet subtly pulls you away from your own power, makes you question your worth, or asks you to dim so they can shine. For others, it may be financial, a proposal that promises quick money, easy success, or miraculous debt relief, but comes wrapped in contracts, secrecy, or pressure to decide quickly. For some, it could be social, a group, a community, or a friend circle that presents itself as supportive and spiritual, but slowly erodes your individuality, asking you to conform, perform, or tolerate what feels misaligned. And for some, the trap is emotional. Your own old patterns of people-pleasing, self-sacrifice, or rescuing, trying to pull you back into situations where you are needed but not truly valued. The universe is not trying to scare you away from love, opportunity, or connection. It is trying to direct you toward what is authentic instead of what is shiny. December 9th is not a day of doom. It is a day of clarity. Imagine standing on a stage, lit from every angle, shadows burned away, secrets unable to hide. Around that time, conversations may expose what was previously hidden. Someone may say the quiet part out loud. A truth may slip out in anger, in carelessness, or in a moment where a mask drops. You may catch a glimpse of someone's real priority, not in what they tell you they value, but in what they actually choose when it costs them something. You might finally see that the person who claims they're protecting you is actually controlling you, or that the one who plays the victim is quietly benefiting from your guilt. You may see that a situation you've been telling yourself is temporary has actually become a cage. This realization may sting, but it is not here to break you. It is here to free you. Scorpio, you are being called to choose yourself in a deeper way than you ever have. This does not mean becoming cold or cruel. It means no longer volunteering for your own suffering. The universe is asking, When you sense manipulation, will you still smile and stay, or will you step back, breathe, and honor your boundaries? When someone uses flattery, guilt, or urgency to push you into a decision, will you rush to keep them happy? Or will you remember that real respect never needs to be forced? When you see the red flags glowing, will you paint them white, or will you say, "I see this clearly, and I choose peace"? One of the most powerful things you can do around this time is practice the sacred art of the pause. Before committing, pause. Before confessing your deepest secrets to someone new, pause. Before explaining yourself to someone who has already shown they don't listen, pause. The trap thrives on your automatic reactions. It loses power when you move from instinct plus awareness instead of from fear. Even in this warning, there is good news. The same transit that highlights the trap also highlights your protection. As you say no to what drains you, you create space for what truly honors you. The people who are meant for you will not be offended by your boundaries. They will feel safer with you because of them. The opportunities aligned with your destiny will not evaporate because you asked for time. They will meet you with patience and transparency. Around December 9th, you may notice that the moment you step away from something that feels wrong, something unexpectedly right appears. A genuine friend, a stable offer, a healing conversation, or even a quiet sense of relief in your own chest. This is the universe confirming, yes, that door needed to close. You are not being led away from joy. You are being led away from counterfeits so that real joy can find you. You may also feel called to clean your energetic field, decluttering your space, unfollowing accounts that disturb your peace, limiting conversations with people who only come to unload, and paying attention to who actually nourishes you. This is not selfish, it is spiritual hygiene. Scorpio carries deep, intense energy, and if you let the wrong people feed off it, you end up depleted and confused while they walk away full E. The universe is reminding you that you are not a bottomless well for others to drink from. You are a sacred river with a purpose, and your flow deserves protection. Take time around this period to journal your impressions about the people and situations that feel unclear. Write down your dreams, your repeated thoughts, the names that keep surfacing. Often your spirit will tell you the truth on paper before you're ready to say it out loud. You don't have to confront everyone. Sometimes the most powerful move is a quiet shift in how much access you allow. And now, Scorpio, as we weave this message to its resting place in your mind and heart, let this part land gently. What you have just heard is not a fixed sentence carved in stone, but a living mirror held up to your soul. This narrative is a symbolic map of one possible energy pattern, a story about vigilance and self-protection whispered to the ones who feel its resonance. Is not here to replace your own judgment, your faith, your therapy, or any professional guidance you might need in love, money, health, or safety. Think of it as a thought experiment for your intuition, a stream of images and words designed to help you recognize what your spirit already knows. If this message wakes something inside you, if it makes you feel seen, or gives language to a subtle discomfort you couldn't explain, then keep the pieces that align and let them support wiser choices. If it doesn't fit, let it drift past like a cloud across your sky, harmless and free, because not every story belongs to every soul, and that's perfectly okay. The real power has always been within you, the power to sense, to choose, to walk away, to forgive yourself, and to step into a future where your heart is still soft, but your boundaries are made of light and steel. As December 9th, 2025 approaches, remember this simple truth. Your spirit has survived too much to walk blindly into anything. You are allowed to question, to pause, to protect your path. Not every smile is safe, but you, Scorpio, are far from defenseless. You are the storm, the seer and the survivor, and no hidden trap can hold the one who has finally decided to trust their own knowing.